Come on, with me on this, will you? Now, thank goodness at this point in my life, not everything that pops into my brain pops out of my lips. That was a problem that I had earlier in life, that sometimes things came out of my mouth and they seemed to just not even go through my brain. I don't know where they came from, but at least now I seem to be gaining a bit more self-control. But I was thinking really, 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 really loud as I was on the phone with somebody. Come on, work with me on this, will ya? Because I've tried to make myself as available as possible to people in this time of need. And I've really been trying through lots of prayer as much as possible, because people are suffering in ways that are not obvious right now, suffering because of this pandemic in ways that others may not know about. But the therapists know, and counselors know, family members might know, pastors definitely know. And when you call me, what do you think is going to be my suggestion to help you survive this difficult time? Yeah, thank you. I heard it. Prayer. I mean, prayer, okay? If you call me, that's what I'm going to, prayer. And yet, people sometimes need to be reminded, what is prayer? Prayer is a relationship, a conversation with God. It's two-way. And that's where I experience the exasperation. Yeah, that's got to be a word. It sounds like a word. It's because there's this thought that if I pray to God, God's going to fix everything for me. Well, yep, that's possible. You better believe it. Miracles happen. But what I've discovered with God is that most of the time, God doesn't like to force himself on us. He likes to work with us. And that's why that thought, work with me on this, will you? I'm here for you. I'm praying for you. I'm available for you. But I need you to exert a little bit of effort in this too. I mean, that's what St. Paul was saying in his second letter to Corinthians chapter 6, verse 1. Working together, then, we appeal to you not to receive the grace of God in vain. Not to receive the grace of God in vain. And what is grace? Grace is God's freely given gifts for whatever we need whenever we need it. That's the simplest definition of grace. Grace is God's freely given gifts for whatever we need whenever we need it. But then I'm going to give you the rest of the definition, so that we can work with God to put these gifts to the purpose with which they are given, to help us. See, working together, then, we appeal to you not to receive the grace of God in vain. God is continuing to freely give to us everything that we need when we need it to make it through this pandemic, to rise from what many are describing as a major crash and burn, to rise from the ashes. And yet, this freely given gift of God's grace is something that we need to cooperate with. We need to join with God. I love that we're going to be singing later on, it's just one of my favorite songs, Ashes by Mia Fields. And it says, from the ashes you call my heart to life. From the silence, from the sadness, you call my heart to life. God is calling us to discover new life through the grace that is being so overwhelmingly and freely flowing into our lives. We're going to make it through this pandemic. We're going to rise from the ashes to new life. And yet, it's going to take us working together with God for this to happen. And see, what I love about it is, in the past on Ash Wednesday, we have this beautiful gospel of Matthew that says, chapter 6, verse 1. Jesus said to his disciples, take care not to perform righteous deeds in order that people may see them. So I would preach this wonderful gospel about, don't do righteous deeds so people could see them. And then I'd put a big old black cross on your forehead, and then you'd walk around the rest of the day where everybody can see it. How do you know they saw it? You'd be checking out in the grocery store, and this checker was so thoughtful and concerned and said, do you know you have a little bit of dirt on your forehead? Yeah, guess what? This year, there are a lot of people, they're participating in this Ash Wednesday service at home. Nobody's going to see it. But I mailed out ashes. And if you're at home, even though nobody's going to see it, do it for yourself. Take some of those ashes when we get to that point and put them on your forehead. Remember, you are dust, and to dust you shall return. Boy, mortality has really come to mind with this whole pandemic, isn't it? Are you ready? Do it for yourself. I was visiting with my mother yesterday. She's taken down her Valentine's decorations. She's already put up her St. Patrick's Day decorations. And my mother doesn't have a drop of Irish in her. And you know what? Nobody may never see those decorations. But she does it for herself. Do this for yourself. We're not doing this so that we could show off to others so that they can see it. We're doing it to cooperate with what God is offering us. What is God offering us? Life in the Holy Spirit. Life in the Holy Spirit. And what does that life in the Holy Spirit look like with you? For me, it's this great friendship and relationship, somebody walking with me and giving me all the gifts I need to thrive. And in that relationship, bearing all the fruits that I need to thrive. So let us work together with the Holy Spirit. And those who have come to face, you're not getting a cross on your forehead today. Sorry. I can't do it because, that's not safe. But actually, we're going to go back to the more ancient form. It goes all the way back to the Old Testament, but it was actually the way the church has done it through most of the history. We're just going to pour the ashes over your head. They'll be there. May not be as visible. Well, looking out there, some of you, it might be visible on the top of your head. Sorry, I'm not looking. But the reality is, you're going to know they're there. They're going to be all the reminder that you need, that look what God is sharing freely with us to help us. Stop shaking your head like that, because I wasn't talking just about you. God is sharing his grace freely with us to help us when we need it, however we need it, and then working with us, together with us, to help us grow in God's grace.